I'm always amazed at all the stuff that you're able to do. And then I talk to you and you're like, I'm not doing that much. It surprises me because I feel like I'm never enough and I'm never doing enough. And then you'll see me and be like, you're doing so much. And I'm like, I was thinking that about you.
I know. It seems like I'm doing so much. And then you'll catch me on that one day where all 7 things already happened and I have nothing. That window of 72 hours and then it's like off to...
Yeah, Peter's always like, yeah, Chris, you'll quit comedy until you write a new joke. That's just how it is. Welcome to the Ivey League. Very happy to have you guys. This is our first episode back. Hopefully it'll be our first one back unless Chris does something horrendous that we can't put out.
Don't cancel me.
Yeah.
Don't cancel me. I've done some terrible things.
Yes. Today on the show, one of my oldest friends in Birmingham. I love him dearly. He is an accomplished painter, improviser, host, actor, and stand-up comedian. You're very good at all 5. I can only do 1 to 2 decently. Y'all, it's Chris Davis. What's up, Chris? How you doing?
I'm good, Chris. How are you? Wait a minute, Chris. We're both named Chris.
Chris and Chris?
What?
We should have a comedy connection.
A comedy connection? What would we call it?
The Ivey and Davis review show?
Doesn't sound good. How about the Chris and Chris comedy connection?
I think that's already taken.
Okay.
Maybe.
We'll
See, this is how bad I am at improvising.
No, you're good.
I never even asked it. Yes, Andrew. On the first thing, I was like, not that. No.
You did it right. You did it right.
Did I do it right?
Yes, you did it perfectly. Don't discount yourself.
Well, today we have Professor Davis on here, Chris Davis. Please check out his socials. By the way, I love the what would you call it? The seascapes you're doing?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That new art show is excellent.
Thank you.
Chris, it's Chris Davis does stuff, right?
Yes.
Chris Davis does stuff on Instagram and socials.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited to have you on. There's so many things I'd love to talk to you about, but I just wanted to start with stand-up.
Yeah.
Like I said, Chris is a great painter. You worked for Southern Living for a while?
Yeah, 10 years.
10 years accomplished host. You've hosted TV shows. You've done you're a great improviser.
An internet TV show.
Well, an internet TV show.
It was on,
but isn't the internet like TV
basic
right
cable
now?
Is still TV.
Oh, basic cable I think is more TV.
Not basic cable. I'm sorry, public access.
Public access?
That counts as television.
Well, they're taking it away, so don't worry about it.
Is there any public access anymore? I don't think so. Maybe in New York.
But what interests me is because you do all these things, then you also do stand-up. You're very good at all of them.
Thanks.
A little backstory about how I met Chris. When I started doing stand-up here in Birmingham, Alabama, Chris was kind of like the man. You were kind of like a myth. I didn't ever see you at Mike's much. And Chris, before it, I guess it's on hiatus, but you had the longest running show in Alabama, Fresh Ground Comics.
Started 2003.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, since you're on hiatus, my show is the longest running. Thank you.
Now I got to catch up.
Eat it. I
am eating it right now. It tastes delicious.
No, but I would just hear like Chris Davis. And then I went to Fresh Ground. And I was starting, and I was the last of all the new people that got to do Fresh Ground. I was like, wow. Like Peter, Adrian, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Trey, all the people came to Fresh Ground.
Yeah.
And all the people that started with me got to do it first. And I was like, I hope Chris would see me. And it would feel like every time you would pop up at a show and I'd do a set, I would eat it.
I didn't think
And I would be like, ugh, no way I'm doing that show. Because it was the show in Birmingham to do.
Thanks. It turned out to be really such a thing. Like Russell Arrett started Fresh Ground Comics.
Love Russell Arrett.
Love Russell.
Hey, Russell. Hope you're watching. You can come on.
He's back in town.
Is he back in town?
Yeah.
Come do some stand-up.
Yeah. We were supposed to go do.
He was touring for a while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was in Oregon. Now he's back in town. But yeah, he started it because I was doing improv from 2003. And then that group disbanded. And then it's like, hey, everybody, they're doing stand-up down the street. Okay, So about 5 of us tried our hand at stand up, and I'm the only stupid one who stayed with it.
It's a terrible profession.
It's horrible.
It is the worst people and the
Yes.
worst time you can ever have.
Yes.
Only one of those things is a lie.
But Russell had a good show going, and then we all tried to do stand up, and that was my first time doing stand up, and it was so much fun.
And you said 2003?
2003 started it.
22 years old.
Yeah.
Good
I am
God almighty.
elderly.
Well, if I'm still doing stand up when I'm 22 years in, I'm gonna. I can't say it because of the YouTube algorithm.
I know.
I don't want to mess it up, but I'm gonna.
Yeah. Point to your temples and cut your hair.
Yeah, and y'all are going to do a memorial podcast
Yes.
while they're taking down my stuff for an estate sale.
I called dibs on this poster.
Oh, the Groovy Laughs one?
Yeah,
Were you
I
on
love
that
it.
show?
I don't think.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I
Bottom
was,
right
yeah.
corner.
It's
I've actually
crazy.
I forgot to say this. I've got some of Chris's artwork here.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a piece up there. You can't see it from the shop, but we'll take a look at it.
Dinosaur in space.
Mm-hmm. So Fresh Ground Comics, Russell's doing the show.
Yeah, Russell's doing the show, and it was open mic style, and then anybody can come up, whatever. And then Russell had the brilliant idea of, instead of doing that, it's like he would choose the comics and he would start charging.
Nice.
And it changed dramatically. It was only $5, but it's an investment. You made an investment, and then the audiences got better, the comedy got better, and then Russell was going on tour a lot, and then he just kind of stopped doing Fresh Ground. And then I was running the open mic. I was the third to run it because Caroline ran it, then Michael McCall ran it, then I had it at
the one at Stillwater?
McAnally's Pub in Hoover.
I've heard about that one.
There's a Publix now where it used to be. So if you're ever in the produce section, that's where we used to tell poop jokes.
Yeah.
So that shut down because they sold it to Publix.
Mm-hmm.
Then I called up Russell. Russell, do you mind if I take over Fresh Ground Comics while you're gone? Whatever. Just thinking I'll do it for a little bit until he comes back.
Yeah.
And then I just kept it going at that coffee shop. Then we went to Red Cat, and then we went to Urban Standard, and just kept going.
I met you during the Urban Standard years.
Yeah.
Some pretty big people have done that show.
Yeah,
I remember you did a Paige Weldon show that was so good.
Oh, I can't remember.
That was at Urban Standard. It was a great show.
Yeah.
I was a little overeager meeting her after, and I think I freaked her out. I was like, "You were so great." She was like, and it's also like, "Oh yeah, you're a woman on the road by yourself," and I'm just like lumbering up, being like, "Hey,
I'm a man. I like you.
Yeah, you're great. You're very funny."
You smell nice.
I didn't even say I was a comic or anything. I was just like a guy watching the show by himself.
Your comedy is wonderful, and your aroma is delicious.
Yeah.
What? There's been some cool comics who've come through and just come through town. People like you will vouch for them. It's like, hey, they're coming to town. Want to do some time? And I remember at Fresh Ground at Urban Standard, this one guy, I never met him before. He was in LA.
Mm-hmm.
He was a friend of one of the other comics, and after the show he did great. And after the show, I gave him $20. And he looked at me and said, what is this? It's like, oh, this is for the comedy. Oh, I've been doing comedy in LA for a long time. I've never gotten paid. And it was like, and that's the way it is. LA and New York, you got to scramble for space.
Takes
Birmingham
so long.
is smaller.
I remember the first time I was in Chicago, I did a show called Camp that was a very famous Chicago show for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Red popped on it, but I was talking to this comic after. And here in the South, you get used to starting out in stand-up and doing time and kind of getting paid a little earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was talking to this guy after the show, and he was like, yeah, it took me 4 years to do my first 10-minute spot. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That sucks.
That's why I used to tell people when they moved to Chicago, New York, or California, I would just just take advantage of the fact that this is here right now. It's like, you get to go on stage, you get to do 10 minutes or 5 minutes, and you might make a whole $20, but it's cool. It's a good proving ground for comics, for all of us. And you're going to go off into another big city where, getting 5 or 10 minutes is going to be a while.
It's going to take a while. You'll do 90-second spots, 60-second spots.
Yeah. So if you're going to your hometown comedy show, support your hometown comedy show, because you're going to get 10 minutes in your hometown probably, or 5. But as soon as you go to a big city or any other place where they don't know you, it's just going to be harder. That's just the nature of anything.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's very difficult at the beginning.
Yeah.
I guess because you were doing improv, starting stand-up wasn't as difficult. Were you doing improv for a while beforehand?
I started in 2000 all the way to 2003 doing improv, then stand-up. And then stand-up was going fine. And then one night, everybody came up and go, Chris, I really like what you did tonight. I said, oh, great, thanks. What did I do? What the hell did I do? And I didn't know what they were talking about. And then I realized, I was just being myself. I wasn't trying to be a stand-up comedian. I was just Chris being, funny. And I improvised a little bit. And so that I just let myself be natural, just like I did in improv. So, which is a lesson for anybody. Just be yourself. Don't try to be something.
But also remember, like Miles Davis, who we do have a poster on the wall of Miles, it takes a long time to sound like yourself.
Yeah. That's I never heard that phrase before. But
the Miles Davis quote, it takes a long time to sound like yourself.
It does. It took,
because I'm sure you see there's different waves of comedy, and then you see new comics start, and then you're like, oh, you're doing that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, you're doing that guy.
Yeah.
You're doing that guy. But yeah, it's so interesting because I actually started in improv as well.
Really? I didn't know that.
We'll save that for a different thing. I'll tell you it off. This is about you. And I'll probably end up telling this story like 8 billion times during this podcast. So I'm going to save it for you guys for later when we get a lull. And it might happen in this hour. So it might actually come back around. We might call it back.
Well, when you came onto the scene, because I hadn't met you yet, and all I heard was like, Chris Ivey's doing this, Chris Ivey's doing that, and Chris Ivey's bringing these people in from like DC or New York or Chicago or whatever. It's like, who's this Chris Ivey guy?
Not one person said he's really funny.
No, but I was like, here, because I hadn't met you yet, and I was like, oh man, Chris Ivey, he's new on the scene, and he's bringing in some heavy hitters, and he's really putting stuff together. So I was really curious to meet you and see one of your shows. So. Yeah,
I think I met you the first time we had any extended conversation. I met you over at your house to either give you Tolly's PA, or maybe get your PA for a fresh ground.
Probably get Tolly's PA.
Yeah, and shout out Tolly Jones. We love you.
Tolly Jones.
Tolly skull bit.
I beg him to do the skull bit.
Yeah. Do it right now. I'm gonna hopefully, if he'll do this podcast, I'll have him do the skull bit just to me.
If he's watching this, I hope he's doing the skull bit.
He's performing it as he's
in his living room.
There's a computer monitor showing this, and he's got it there. He goes, "Don't look at its eyes."
It's the best thing in the world.
But I had heard about you a lot. You were running Fresh Ground Comics. It was like the show to do in town. It was the only real show to do in town.
Pretty much.
For a while. So let's sort of circle back. You were doing improv before. Tell me about where'd you grow up and what was it like growing up?
Birmingham, Alabama, born and raised. On the playground. Over in North Birmingham and Collegeville. So I had a really good childhood. Super shy. Not the loud, obnoxious man I am today. Super shy. Would not look you in the eye. Especially if you was a girl, would not look you in the eye. I was terrified of everybody. But I think it played to my benefit later in life, like today. Because I was afraid of everyone. Men, women, boys, girls, black, white, old, young. I was terrified of everybody. So now I get along with everybody. Because I started off in this nice even plane where it's fearful of everyone in existence. But I was always silly. I was always funny and goofy. My friends always laughed at me, whatever. Strangers, I would clam up. I would like, don't say anything. But in front of them, I'm always goofy and silly, and never had any idea of performing ever.
That feels like a lot of comics I know, where the funny is almost like a gift that you give to people around you, and people that you're not close with are like, no, you don't get any.
Yeah, there's people I'd be around. It's like they were just, I'm sure, thinking, "What is this problem?"
I tell people, like, if I joke around with them, make fun of them, they'll be like, "You must not like me," and it's like, "No, I do like you. That's why I'm doing it. You think I'm going to make fun of a person I don't know? What am I, a monster? Yeah, I actually hate you. I'm going to berate you?
Yeah.
No.
Hey, stranger, nice shirt,
Yeah.
a-hole.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
You
you
smell
don't
like
wanna-
garbage.
You don't want to get murdered.
Roasted. But yeah, and it's interesting because you don't sound like you're from Birmingham, Alabama.
I don't. I've gotten it all my life. It's like, you don't sound like you're from here. I don't sound like anybody in my family, anybody in my neighborhood. Just all my life.
So just a very normal childhood growing up.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love your sister, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I haven't seen her in a few years. Tell her I said hello.
I will. She's awesome. Yeah, I always got like you sound like a white guy or a cartoon or Kermit the Frog.
Remember, we were doing that, Chris and Chris, and I won't say the comic's name, but we love him.
Mm-hmm.
He made a joke about you being sounding white, and then you went up, and I've never seen you do this. You just like pounced on him, and I was like, yo, I was like, that's what I'm supposed to do on this show.
I didn't know who this was and what I said.
We'll talk about it after.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. I'm not ready to burn my comedy crew down yet, but when I do, I will name names.
I don't often pounce, but I like to pounce.
You did. I was surprised because, like, full disclosure, Chris and I have a show we do called the Chris and Chris Comedy Connection.
Yes.
That we've done at Saturn, which is an improv comedy show. But the play of it is you're like the optimistic, nice one, and I'm like pessimistic and dour. I'm like mean.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that way. It just comes out
natural.
of me.
Just
yeah,
natural.
it just.
We are yin and yang.
But I feel like we both have the same spirit.
Yeah, we do. We do.
We really do.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like when you get to know me, I'm nice.
I know.
That's what every dickhead says is like, when you get to know me, I'm a nice guy.
You peel back the layers of shittiness.
It's like Tony Soprano, but he took care of those ducks. It's like he's a sociopathic monster.
Yeah, it was just, I was telling a friend of mine, just like my friend Javel, who's not with us anymore, but we'll be watching The Sopranos and we'll talk to each other afterwards. And then it's always that last 5 minutes. The Sopranos go, oh yeah, he's terrible.
He's the worst person alive.
He's
yeah,
terrible.
He's a monster.
And so people are like, well, you get to know me, you'll see past the terrible part. That last 5 minutes of me is good.
Yeah,
I'm the reverse Soprano.
So you're growing up in Birmingham.
Yep.
You've got a sister. You don't have any other siblings.
I have an older brother, older sister, younger sister.
I've only met one of your sisters.
Yeah, so I got two.
Okay.
Two of them tortured.
Mom and dad?
My mom's still alive. Stepdad passed away.
Okay. Did you and your stepdad get along well?
Yeah, we did. He's everything I know about tinkering with tools and stuff I got from him.
Really?
Yeah. He's why I fix everything that breaks in my apartment.
Okay.
Yeah, or anything.
What was the first thing that he sort of let you come around? Or would he just let you watch and you would just sit sort of shy looking at him?
He would let me watch. He would always say, take your hands out of your pockets.
Would he?
Which is like scared the hell up. It's like, what?
Come to think of it, Chris, never seen your hands in your pockets.
That's why I'm traumatized.
He crushed it.
Yeah, take your hands out of your pocket because it looked like you were just standing around doing nothing. It's like if your hands are out, your hands are ready to work. So I think just stuff with screwdrivers and pliers and stuff and a lot of wires and things. He used to work at a place called Metalcraft, which was an aluminum manufacturing company. So he would bring like
what part of town was it in? Is it over in this area? Well, let's not say where I live.
It may have been. I don't know. It was somewhere. Somewhere. It wasn't far from where we lived in North Birmingham. But he would bring aluminum spools a lot. The giant aluminum spools. He would make a table out of them.
Awesome.
And just wire and lounging furniture. So.
Did you have much of a relationship with your real dad?
No, never met him.
Really?
Never met him. And then got in touch. My younger sister got in touch with him later in life. And I didn't get in touch with him. He passed away a few years ago. So. Did
you have any ambition to get in touch with him?
You know, my stepdad was the only dad I knew. And that was my dad. And I didn't have any ambition or inkling. I think later in life, it was more of a curiosity, but it never, but at the very end, I thought, man, I wish I had met him once, but I don't feel like there's a void or anything missing.
Right.
So I got everything I needed.
Yeah.
From my mom and dad. So.
Did you ever harbor any resentment towards him?
You know, when I thought about it more, I was an adult. So I thought about it in a way that I didn't harbor any resentment. I just thought, well, he clearly wasn't, good enough to invest in his own child's life, and his loss.
Okay. Well, I have a weird relationship with my dad.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know him growing up. I met him like twice.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he weirdly came back around when I was 30, which was strange.
Okay. I think you've mentioned
yeah,
past
and I have stuff on stage where I kind of talk about it.
Yeah.
I was just interested about that because I harbored a lot of resentment for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have like great stepdads around.
Yeah.
Some of them were kind of mean.
Yeah. I mean, my stepdad was mean sometimes, but
what stepdad isn't?
I know. That's like a prerequisite.
Yeah, you were like Cinderella.
Okay, great. Here's your stepdad uniform. Oh, and here's your be mean at least 3 times a month card. You get it punched and you get a
Here
free
is
Subway
your
sandwich.
Subscription to Asshole Monthly. Enjoy.
Oh, and make sure you yell out of the window at your kids' friends for an extended period of time.
And take your hands out of your pockets, for Christ.
Oh, he would do that. Like, we hit the basketball on the side of the house once. Mm-hmm. And he was just like, you can't do that, blah, 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 blah. It's like, all right, old man. You made your point.
Yeah.
I'm just standing there going, oh, God, he's going to talk forever.
What a nightmare.
What
a nightmare. But he was okay.
For the most part, yeah.
And he was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. What was your relationship like with your mom?
It's great. My mom was my Doctor Who PBS buddy. Mm-hmm. So we watched Doctor Who together. We watched PBS together. My whole family would watch PBS and cartoons and TV shows.
Are you were you a late 70s baby or 80s baby?
70s, 80s.
70s, 80s.
Yeah. Born 70.
Okay. Yeah. So right when like Sesame Street was coming around and some of that stuff.
Yeah. And I think it benefited me so much, or just people of my generation, that we only had 3 channels.
Yeah.
And plus PBS, 4 channels, like 3 networks and the Fox.
Were you alive, and do you remember when they would just cut the TV off at 10?
Yes, that's what happened. That's what needs to happen. Like at midnight. At midnight, when Carson went off, and then you just get a test pattern, boop, and that would just be on until 5 a.m. Mm-hmm. Nobody needs to watch TV after 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Go to sleep.
It's
or look at a star. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about something.
Yeah.
Sit and wrestle with life's questions.
Yes, TV should go off.
It should. And the phone should at 1:30 your phone should go dead.
Yes. You should
from 1:30 to 7 a.m. Yeah.
You have to go out and find a landline if you want to make a call.
Yeah, you know what I miss about having a landline?
What?
Angrily slamming the phone down. Don't you miss that?
You can't oh yeah? I'll show you.
Clank. You have to pull it and be like,
oh yeah? I showed no.
You have to touch it like a prince, you know?
Yeah, you can't slam the phone. Also, I missed the dollar tone.
What was Birmingham like in the 70s and 80s?
It was a wonderland, man, because everything was just fancy and new to me.
Uh-huh.
You can go shopping. You can go shopping downtown now, but when I was a kid, you went downtown to shop. There was no Galleria Mall yet. There was Eastwood Mall and Century Plaza. That was the mall. But you can go downtown. You can go downtown to shop at a couple of department stores and clothing stores and restaurants. Then downtown went away across the country, all cities. But now downtown's back.
Yeah, downtown's back a little bit. It's good.
Yeah.
When did you start noticing downtown was going away?
Late 80s, early 90s. Okay. All the shops started to shut down.
So right sort of end of high school, college.
Yeah. So around 93 is when I moved to Savannah, Georgia to finish art school. And that's when things were kind of quieting down in a few places. And when I moved back, so many places that shut down.
Okay.
Even the weird wig shop shut down. I thought that place would be there forever.
You did? The wig shop?
It was a mysterious place.
Yeah.
It was just a wig shop downtown. It's like, oh.
Where'd you go to high school?
Carver High.
Carver?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The old busted Carver High, not that new shiny one.
Not the old and busted.
Yeah, but I love that school. I love Carver.
Did you? And then, when did you start to get a fascination? I know you said you went to art school. We'll get there in a second. Mm-hmm. Just the way your brain works is very interesting. And growing up in late 70s, early 80s Birmingham, Alabama, would not think it would produce you,
Really?
the type of person you are, because you're like somebody I would meet somewhere else where I've lived other places.
I have gotten that when I'll go to some places. Where are you from? Birmingham.
Yeah. Yeah, you're geographically ambiguous.
Yeah. Ooh,
You're
I like
culturally
I
non-binary
like
in a very good way. And what started this? So you were shy.
Yeah, but always artistic and always silly and fun.
And I guess because your stepdad, you saw him creating stuff, it
Yeah.
sort of gave you license to create stuff as
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, just
And it sounds
great
like your
stuff.
mom, PBS buddy, she was probably supportive and nurturing and cool.
Yeah, I always tell people I've had the most supportive family because I have no athletic ability. I
Never
was a
played
little-
sports.
No sports. Just a little nerd kid reading comic books and watching cartoons and TV. And any artistic or endeavor, whatever I had, they always told me you were going to get it. They knew I was going to get it before I did. Always supportive.
So you were just on a heavy dose of cartoons and comic books.
Yeah, and sitcoms. Sitcoms that now I watch it, I get everything. It's like I had no business watching Barney Miller when I was 8. I don't know
Barney
what was
Miller's
happening.
funny.
I love Barney Miller. It's my favorite.
Yeah, the Mary Tyler Moore Show is great.
Mm-hmm. Carol Burnett.
Carol Burnett's so good.
Yeah, she
Shout out to Mama's Family.
Oh, Mama's Family.
What a great
I
show.
love Mama's Family.
Mama's Family is incredible. The episode where they she goes on Jeopardy? Is it
Was it Family Feud? Was it Family Feud or Jeopardy? Family Feud.
Family Feud, and they
Yeah.
get the trip to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's got to find incredible.
It's always that you can find all the very special episodes
Mhm.
of sitcoms where they want a trip somewhere.
Yeah.
Sanford and Son did it. They went to
Mhm.
Hawaii. Brady Bunch, they went to Hawaii.
Yeah, whatever tourist
Yeah.
place was like, we'll give you money to come film
That was the
here.
most exotic place you can go to. on
Yeah.
a budget for television shows.
What were your favorite sitcoms?
Three's Company. Even though I didn't understand all of it, I did love Barney Miller.
Yeah, Three's Company, a lot of innuendo.
Yes, so much in you, and so many misunderstandings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sanford and Son, I was a huge fan of.
Man, I love Sanford and Son.
Sanford and Son, and
Remember
Fred
the episode in
Sanford.
Sanford and Son when he gets the gilded horse and he can't breed it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's
And then
gilded.
the guy comes over and he doesn't know what gilded means, and he looks under and he sees like there's no
Yeah.
junk there.
Yeah.
And then the guy comes over to buy it, and he puts a huge pair of boxers on the horse. What an incredible gag. Very funny. I was like, where'd they get boxers that big, not knowing like there's a whole art team to like make them?
my favorite thing about, let's say, this is such a weird combination. Fred Sanford,
Uh-huh.
Popeye, and Mr. Howell from Gilligan's Island. They always mutter something under their breath
Mm-hmm.
that's very funny and ridiculous, and I just gravitated towards that. I think they were very instrumental in my comedy upbringing.
I don't watch much Gilligan's Island.
I love Gilligan's Island.
Really?
Whoever says anything bad about Gilligan's Island, I'll slit their tires. Tires. Just cut all the tires.
Cut all the tires.
Yeah.
Down like 4 flat tires.
Yeah, yeah. It's got
Okay,
all the
so
archetypes you need.
so you were just taking in pop culture,
Yeah.
and that's what did you start? I had a stroke. Did you start drawing, or
Always.
how
drawing.
did you have a teacher, or
I was always drawing. I think the time I realized I really want to draw and be an artist was when I was 7, and I saw my older brother, copying an image out of a book for a history class,
mm-hmm.
and I thought, oh, I want to do that. I could do that, and so I drew it too. And I think that was really how it kind of started, like me really wanting to draw versus just drawing. So I really just drew all my life, just doing illustrations and cartoons and then technical drawings, and then just getting into graphic design.
And then as you were going through high school, you're probably drawing more and more.
Mm-hmm.
Were you getting into different artists at that point and sort of broadening your horizons, or was it still like the artists you looked towards were the comic books you were
Mostly
reading?
the comic artist and like cartoonists that would do stuff like for cartoons for the New York Times.
Mm.
Like there was this guy.
Political cartoonists.
Yeah, political cartoonist. It was this guy named Mort Gerberg.
Yeah.
I got his book.
Mhm.
He was a political cartoonist, and the guy who does Mother Goose and Grimm, Mike Peters. I loved him. He had a TV show on PBS where he would interview other cartoonists, and then they would sit there and draw.
Oh man, I bet that was like your show.
I had to watch it. It was like I need to get home for this show every time, and nobody else was going to watch this TV on our one TV until I watched.
When would it come on? At what time?
It came on like 4 p.m. I think
On a Saturday or something.
like either weekdays or once a week. It was on a weekday.
Mhm.
It was like 4 p.m. It's like, no, Tuesday 4 p.m. I gotta watch Mike Peters cartoon show. He's talking to Jeff McNally who draws Shoe.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, you nerd? Shut up.
Yeah. Every one of us who does something in this realm has a weird thing that they were really liking that none of their family understood.
Yeah, I had a huge deal for like odd animation when I was a kid. So
Mhm.
like Doonesbury had an animated special
Mhm.
on. And of course, I'm young and I don't understand half of it. But I know, ooh, it's a cartoon. That's all I understood.
And you're like, it's different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I own it now on DVD. And it's great. It's
Mhm.
great. It's all this anti-war stuff. And it's like, subservient things. And, stick it to the man. We used to live in a commune stuff. And
Yeah.
It's really, really funny.
It's like nuanced.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Because you had to be nuanced then to get anything passed.
Yeah. Yeah, you couldn't just be. I mean, there was so much plain Jane kind of garbage out there, but all the stuff like that stood out. So
Mhm.
that really stuck with me, resonated with me all the time.
So you're going through high school, and when do you decide you want to do art school, or is that something you figured out in undergrad, or
I
did you
knew
go to art
I
school?
wanted to go to art school like forever. I think in the ninth grade, it's like I want to go to art school,
Mhm.
and I found out the one I went to is the one I learned about in high school. I said I'm going to go to Savannah College of Art and Design. I'm going to go there. So ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, I know I'm going to go there. 12th grade, I know I'm going to go there. Then I goofed around and didn't apply myself and didn't apply to the school.
How'd you goof around?
I just didn't apply to it. It's like I should have applied to the school, but I didn't. And then time was going by and I missed my opportunity to apply. But I got a scholarship to Lawson State Community College because my art professor, Mr. Walker, came up there and with a student named Erskine. And he told me about Lawson State. It's a 2-year school and I can go for free. And in hindsight, it's like I encourage anybody, if you can go to a 2-year school, especially one that's accredited and get everything, and then go to a 4-year institution where the classes are 3 times as much, I would do that. Because looking back, it was great. I had a great time at Lawson State. I learned a lot. All the stuff I did transferred to SCAD.
Mhm.
So I'm paying like $300 a class versus $1,000 a class.
Right.
So that was great. So it was a good time. So and after that, I was working full time for a little bit, and I decided at the ripe old age of 23, it's like, well, I'm not getting any younger. I need to go finish art school.
Incredible. Where were you working that you hated?
I had a job at a yogurt shop, which is a pretty good yogurt shop. Shout out to Freshen's Yogurt. Does it still exist? I don't know.
I haven't heard of it. I was gonna be like, oh, you're at the
I think
beginning of TCBY.
TCBY put they're still out, but maybe they destroyed Freshen's. But it tasted like
probably.
ice cream. It was so good.
Really, it was good.
Yeah, it was like European. It had that umlaut over the E.
Yeah.
Freshen's. It was so good. So that was my first job. 17, 18, 19.
Do you think they'd sponsor the podcast?
I hope Freshen's, if you're out there, please. sponsor.
Freshen's, we need
You've got the best frozen yogurt there is.
a little coin.
It really was. It was so good. My family was obsessed with it.
Mhm.
If you go downtown to the Chick-fil-A on Fifth Avenue, that's where Freshen's Yogurt was.
Oh, that's where it was?
On the history tour of Chris Davis and how he became to be.
Yeah. What was also across from there? What was the bar where they would do the midget wrestling and the
Little people wrestling.
little
they
people?
call it
Oh
now.
gosh, we're demonetized. No, little people. Gosh, I can't believe I said that. Little people wrestling, and they would also do like Jello wrestling.
Oh, that's the South Side. I think that was Bell Bottoms.
Bell Bottoms.
Yeah, that was
I've
the
heard
South
of that
Side.
place.
So I worked downtown on Fifth Avenue.
Mhm.
Then after the yogurt place shut down, I went to work at a flower shop. That's before I went to the art.
Which flower shop?
It was called Le Marché à Fleurs.
Hmm.
The market of it was French for the market of flowers, and I was there for 4 years, and I didn't know anything about flowers. I knew about carnations because they were $1.
Mhm.
I had a crush on Audrey Tyson, so I would bring her a carnation. And then I got to learn flowers, and I got to be the manager after 4 years and florist there. So that was great. That's before I went to art school.
Do you think that sort of prolonged going to art school because you were able to sort of exercise that creativity by building arrangement? Because that's what you're doing all day, right?
Yeah. And so that was a real creative environment. I learned a whole lot. And really, I was at Lawson State for 2 years. I didn't graduate, but math was just kicking my butt. So I decided to take a break for a while, and that break turned into a year. And then I was working at the flower shop, and it was like, okay, I gotta go finish. I'm getting old.
Yeah.
I'm 23.
I'm 23. Your
over the
life is
hill.
over.
Yeah.
So you go to Savannah. You get in.
Yeah.
What's that experience like? Have you now? I'm guessing now that you're 23, are you still reading comic books? Are you still drawing inspiration from them? Or
Rarely. In fact, when I got to Savannah, unfortunately, I was broke and couldn't afford comic books anymore. Fortunately, that's when comic books became crap. Spider-Man and Batman were my favorite, and then they just had these long, drawn-out BS storylines. It's like, well, I'm glad I can't afford this garbage. It's terrible.
It's awful.
Yeah, I would buy a few ones here and there, but when I got to Savannah, I mean, it is the greatest thing I've ever done. Man, when I got there, it was like, I'm alive. I lived a wonderful life, but when I got to Savannah, man, it just jumped up.
When you started going to art college, what type of art did you gravitate towards, and what type of artists spoke to you?
Graphic design. When I was younger, it was called commercial art. But then my teacher said, we don't call it that anymore. It's graphic design. Ooh, it's commercial art. It's so tacky. But now it's graphic design. So, but yeah, I was really into logo designs, and I always looked at packaging and product and stuff like so intently, and I noticed little things, and so I was always into graphic design. But I was always so into cartoons. Like I knew I was going to be a cartoonist or an animator. And then I went to graphic design route. Like I knew as a kid, it's like, I'm going to work with Steven Spielberg, Jim Henson, and George Lucas. I know I'm going to work with those three guys.
Are you a Star Wars guy?
Oh yeah, big time.
Really?
I love me some Star Wars.
Do you? How do you feel about the recent Star Wars stuff?
You know, I don't hate on them as much as some people do, but there is some of the stuff that's like, this is.
Did you watch Mandalorian?
I did. I watched the first season of Mandalorian. Loved it.
Good. Yeah.
I only watched a little bit of the second season, and then they started wrapping the Boba Fett into it.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then it's like I didn't watch the Boba Fett one, and then I didn't watch a bunch of the other stuff. Andor
rips.
Andor is the shiznit.
Yeah.
So
Andor's good.
Yeah, I gotta watch season 2. I gotta binge watch season 2.
So you were really into graphic design.
Yeah.
What artists do you like? Maybe some artists people don't know about, or things they can look at?
As far as, before graphic design, Frank Frazetta was a great fantasy. Frank Frazetta and Boris Vallejo, those were like the two bigwigs of like fantasy art. So super into them. And my comic book artists, I loved John Romita Jr. and Gil Kane because they had such a cool, tight style. But then when I got into graphic design, David Carson was big with everybody when I was in school. Saul Bass was good. And Saul Bass, a lot of people don't know who Saul Bass is, but if you've seen the beginning of Psycho, the graphics, that's Saul Bass. Or Age of Innocence, that's Saul Bass. Or The Man with the Golden Arm, that's Saul Bass. So he did all these cool intros and graphics and stuff. So he was a huge hero. I did a report on him in school. It's like one of my final reports.
It makes sense because a lot of the I love checking out whatever your new art exhibit is.
Thank you.
Because, and now that you say graphic design, I didn't know that, but all of it is very, the vision is very singular and it's very tight.
Yeah, my graphic
And when you
design,
look at it, you immediately feel a certain way. The same way, and I know this is strange, the same way you feel like when you look at the Apple logo and you're like, that's sharp.
Yeah. My graphic design background comes out of my pop art a lot. Like basically all the time. Which is cool, and people notice that. I like when people notice that, and because when I tell them I'm a graphic designer, they say, "Oh, I can see it. I can see it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you finish up in Savannah. Do you come back to Birmingham immediately?
Yeah, but I didn't want to because
Who wants to? Who wants to be here? I'm kidding.
I had no reason not to come back, but you know, I'm young and it's like, oh, you'll never see me, Birmingham. You'll never see me home. Like you want to leave your hometown, you never want to come back for no particular reason. So I said, only reason I'll go back to Birmingham if I could work at Slaughter Hanson Advertising or Southern Living magazine.
Southern Living was huge.
God, it's huge.
Huge.
Big deal. And I applied to Slaughter Hanson.
Wait up first. Magazines were these things that you would get once a month, once every couple weeks.
They were made of paper.
They had a lot of pictures. They cost a lot of money to make.
They were numbered in succession.
They were great.
They had information, recipes, and stuff.
Very famous people would be on the covers of them. It would be a big deal.
Yeah, and they were getting rich from them, and now they don't.
Yeah, it would be like, if you don't know what a magazine is, it would be akin to a very big Instagram collab if you were to get one of those.
It's where you saw naked ladies before the internet.
What are naked ladies?
Yeah, I'll tell you later.
Okay.
When you're older.
Thank you.
When you're older.
Off camera. Thank you. So you wanted to work at Southern Living?
Yeah, but
that's a big deal. Was Southern Living always based in Birmingham?
Yeah, always based here.
Really?
Yeah.
My whole life seen that magazine. I never knew.
It's wild. Like a lot of people don't know that.
I always felt South Carolina. I would look at Southern Living and I would think, South Carolina.
South Carolina can't hold Southern Living's bag.
Yeah. Charleston wishes it was Birmingham.
Yeah, it started here. There was a magazine called Progressive Farmer that all the farmers read. 100-year-old something magazine.
Not a sexy name.
Not as
Progressive Farmer?
Well, he's pretty progressive for a farmer.
Not many progressive farmers now.
He's not berating the cows at all.
Yeah.
That's a good farmer.
He let those 2 boy cows get married. It's
I don't know why I sound like a Maine farmer in the South. I got off a train and got lost. Yeah. Now I'm in Alabama. Ooh, there's a twister coming.
Yeah, you have like a vaudevillian type thing going on here.
That's how they talk. That's how those people talk. Those people.
He can say those people. Yes. I can't say those people.
Those mainsters. So Progressive Farmer was a magazine for farmer. And so Southern Living used to be a small section in Progressive Farmer for the wives of the farmer. It's like, Annabelle, here's a little section just for you. You make me a pie and put on a pretty dress.
Yeah.
So that's what Southern Living was. And then it became its own magazine. And then it just got bigger and bigger and just spun off into this wonderful Southern behemoth of fashion and recipes and home and gardens.
A lot of types of pimento cheese. So went through those pages.
Various pimento.
Yeah. A lot of pimentos.
So it was interesting.
They couldn't call the magazine Pimento in Print.
Yeah, they could have just called that.
Right there for that, Chris.
So
Thank you.
Where's this month's Pimento in Print? Don't line the birdcage with that till I read it. So interesting fact. My grandfather was a house painter, professional house painter.
On your mom's side, stepdad's side?
My mom's dad.
Okay.
And he would paint stuff all around town. He used to paint the Progressive Farmer building.
Really?
Inside. Cut to a million years later, where his grandson is working at Southern Living, also painting, but artistically in a different way. So, if you've told me that, I would have never believed it. But so my grandfather painted at Progressive Farmer. I worked at Southern Living.
And what'd you do at Southern Living?
I did page layout, other graphic design stuff. I did logos, icons, and illustrations, like spot illustrations, little cartoon stuff. So if you want to know, if there was a story about the best time to go fishing, I would draw a little fish with a watch going, uh-oh, time for me to get fished.
Did you like the job?
I loved it. It was the best job I will ever have in my life. Best job I ever had.
How long were you there? Did you get to travel for it? And
no, I didn't get to travel. Well, I went to Savannah. I finally convinced him to let me do a story because I wanted to write too. So I wrote a story. I went to Savannah, Georgia for the Savannah Film Festival, and I convinced him to let me go and write a story. And I got my little tiny story in the magazine. Got to interview Roger Ebert.
Oh, you interviewed Roger Ebert.
Yeah,
what was that like?
He was great. He was so cool. He's a really funny he was really funny, down to earth kind of guy. And I remember there was a movie that came out. I think it was like The Girl Next Door or whatever. It was this guy, this young guy, and a working girl. You live next door to
Mhm.
whatever. I forget what the name of the movie was. Somebody will correct me or inform me. And my friend Justin loved that movie, and he disagreed with Roger Ebert about Roger Ebert's review of that movie. And I told him, I'm going to interview Roger Ebert. He said, "Oh, tell him I disagree with him about his review of that movie."
Yeah.
And so at the end of the interview, it's like, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you this. My friend Justin says this about that movie, and he disagrees with you. And he goes, "Okay, well, here's where your friend's wrong." And he proceeds to tell Justin why I was wrong. And then I ran to a payphone to call Justin, and he said, "Well, I guess I'm wrong."
Yeah, guess you're wrong.
But he was such a great guy. He was so nice with his time.
Gracious.
Very gracious. Him and Jason Patrick, I got to interview.
Oh, very cool.
And that was right after he did Narc, the movie Narc.
I love that movie.
And I interviewed him, and I told him, it's like, Narc, you, Ray Liotta, best facial hair action cop movie in ever.
Man, Narc is a...
The
If
Fu
you haven't seen
Manchus were
Narc,
rocking.
we're going to give Rex at the end of this episode for stuff. Narc is a great
Excellent
to see.
film. The great thing about Narc is just starts. It starts. As soon as it goes from black to action,
Bam.
it is so good.
So you loved working at Southern Living, and you
Loved
worked
it.
there for 10 years.
10 years. I was at ad agency before that for 1 year. Which I
What was
also,
it like working at the ad agency?
It was night and day from the magazine. Like a late night at Southern Living was 6 p.m. That was a late night at Southern Living. A late night at the ad agency was like midnight. So,
Very Mad Men?
Yeah, very Mad Men, but with nice people.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of stuff to do, and I was an associate designer there, and things weren't quite working out with me. And my boss was like, "I don't think it's working out, so we'll give you another chance before you let me go." And I tried again, and so he had to let me go.
What were you doing there?
I was associate designer, so I was
So were you just like designing ideas and how they look?
designing stuff, but usually helping other designers and executing the stuff they had me do. So not a whole lot of original stuff. But
That's probably tough for you to do.
it is fresh out of school. Like, I think somebody else fresh out of school maybe would have done a little better. But I was just a little too fresh, they thought. And they were really nice. Here's a lesson, kids. If you get fired, it pays to be nice. Because I got fired from that job. My last day was Friday. I was back in the office Tuesday.
Really?
Yeah, working on my resume. Because I didn't have a computer at home. So I was using a computer. And I came in and said, "Hey, Chris, hey, everybody." So everybody was cool with me there. Good.
You got fired and then came in a couple days later and
My
worked
last
on
day
your
was
resume?
Friday. I came in back to the office Tuesday, the next
And they were cool with it?
Yeah, because I left on good terms. It just didn't work out. I didn't have the experience as the other people did. Everything I had a good idea for, somebody was always doing. And everything I was assigned to, I was doing okay, but not great. So, but yes, you get fired from jobs. But it was the nicest firing ever. They did not want to do it. They hated it. But I
Mhm.
loved everybody there. They were great. And so I just came in and was like, "Hey, everybody, how's it going?" Hanging out in the break room, just talking to everybody. So it pays to be nice at work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I burn bridges. So
Yes,
I
you do.
wouldn't.
I'm learning from you. I want to burn some bridges now. I really do want to burn
I don't
some
really burn bridges.
I want to burn some bridges to the ground.
I'm trying to get better at it, Chris. I'm trying not to burn bridges anymore.
Maybe you and
But I've
I,
already burned some of the bridges, so I can't really tread back.
an 80s movie style, you and I are going to pee into the same fountain and make a wish. I sure wish I was more like Chris Ivey. I wish I was more like Chris Davis.
Yeah, we're going to Freaky Friday ourselves.
Yes.
That would actually be great. Clip it. So I'm guessing 23, go to art school, you said 3 years.
But I was there for 4 years. I moved there in 93.
Did you start
94.
improv in Savannah?
No.
Okay.
I still had no inkling. I was in 2 short films, but both with no speaking roles.
Porn.
Snuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I should have said snuff.
Hey, it was the 90s.
Clip it.
Got to make tuition somehow.
But so, and you said you were real shy. So I'm guessing, did art like, I guess being at the flower shop brought you out. Is that what it was?
All the levels of employment brought me out. I was super shy in high school. To my senior year, I wasn't cool. I wasn't nerd, but I was friend to both. When I got my job at the yoga shop, I stopped being so shy because I remember my boss said, all right, when customers come in, I want you to make eye contact and smile. It's like, ooh, I don't do those two things. That's not me. And so that's when I started making eye contact with people and noticing faces and everything. And then the flower shop, I got even more outgoing. Flower shop is where I learned to cuss and drink.
Oh, yeah.
That's the first time I ever cussed and ever drank in public.
Awesome.
Flower shops are crazy places. You think they're just all fluff and daisies, but no, it's a lot of psychotic stuff going on.
Yeah.
But I love flower shops. But yeah, and then when I got to Savannah, then it's just like, oh man, this is where I need to be. I'm not just another secluded nerd. I'm around a bunch of nerds.
Yeah, everybody at art college is a nerd.
Yeah, we're all the nerds. It's like,
where did you become? So you get done at art college, you come back here, you start working at Southern Living, and then the inkling to perform happens? Or had you always, you said you had done a couple short films.
Yeah, I was a library fugitive. I had a backpack on and I ran out the library and they chased me down thinking I was somebody else. And then they just took up all the fluffy toys out of my backpack. Okay. And then one, I was just looking pensively at the ocean. Man who stares at ocean.
That's how I look at your new exhibit. I just go.
Yeah. But I had no inkling of it. I knew about improv and stand-up. I loved it. I watched Whose Line Is It Anyway, the British version, and it's like, oh man, you can just make stuff up. This is great. I had no inkling of doing it. If you had asked me if I wanted to perform, it's like, no. Why
so you come back to town, you're working at Southern Living, but you're watching that stuff and you're thinking, I'd like to perform. Because I swear, Chris, it's fun to do this and learn all about your past. I know a little bit about it, but I would have guessed theater kid in high school.
That's what a lot of people said. My buddy Jamel, when we joined our first troupe, he and I are the only one without theater experience or taking this call. He would always say we were just naturally stupid.
Because you're like a natural performative entertainer. That's what I describe you as, and this is in no way a diss. I go, Chris is an entertainer.
So thanks. I appreciate
you.
Like
that. I'm like, Chris is an old school song and dance man.
Hat and cane?
Yeah.
Hat and cane. That was the cue for
sometimes you'll get gigs over me and I'll be like, fair. Fair.
One time you gave me a gig.
I did. Because I was like, not for me.
There was no profanity. You couldn't cuss. And it's like,
well, now I can work clean. Your boy can, I do corporates now.
And I told you last time, you can work clean. All you have to do is just take one damn and one hell out and your stuff's fine.
Thank you, buddy.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
It's legit.
But I thought you were a theater kid. So but I guess art school goes hand in hand with all of that sort of culture.
Yeah, it's all artistic expression. I was around a lot of cool stuff, a lot of performances and things like that. And
because at Savannah, I guess they did music and theater too.
This is before. Now they do theater and they do film. Did they do film? They did photography, but now they do all the theatrical stuff. Now they didn't do it when I was there. Which is really cool. They're doing a lot of great stuff. The Savannah Film Festival brings in Roger Ebert, St. Patrick, and Sir Ian McKellen was there one time, and he did a whole "You Shall Not Pass" in the auditorium with no mic. It was amazing. We lost our minds.
He can project.
Yeah. But it was the interesting thing about it is I saw a flyer. This is how I got into improv. My sister wanted to rent a video, and she didn't have an account at the video store that was in the Western supermarket, like next to the Western supermarket.
Oh, the Western.
Yeah. And so I did, and she came over one Sunday and said, hey, I didn't want to rent a video. Let's go to the store. And so went to the video store. They had DVDs. It wasn't just VHS. Wasn't that old. And then I saw a flyer that wanted 10 to 12 people for an improv comedy troupe. And I thought, maybe I'll go try out, whatever. And I saw the flyer Sunday. Auditions were Monday. So after work, I had talked myself out of it, saying, I probably wouldn't get in. But then when I got home, I was like, what do I have to lose? So I went down there and auditioned, and I got into the troupe.
What was the name of the troupe? It was probably something stupid like
they're
tomato
all-
salad
all-
face or something.
Tomato salad, what?
Yeah.
The Knuckleheads Academy.
Yeah.
Screwball McGinty.
Yeah. Tornado butthole or something like.
Tornado Butthole's hilarious. They're a good group. I saw them in Tulsa. They were, sadly, a tornado came by and destroyed them.
Yeah. Yeah. Dorothy went home.
Torrential Downplay. Was the name.
Torrential down.
Yeah,
exactly.
they're all improv.
Exactly.
All improv names. Now I'm in 2 improv groups that have no weird names at all. The Extemporaneous Theater Company, or
Yeah.
ETC, and Ugly Baby.
Ugly Baby is a great improv group.
It is a great improv name.
great improv.
I honestly didn't.
I'm
like
not
it
gonna
at
lie,
first.
better than ETC. Sorry. Ugly Baby's a great improv name.
It is. Well, Ugly. The name,
I wanted to start an improv group called Turd Sandwich, but
I'll come to see it.
well, I need to take a couple levels of your class.
I'll come to see the show in the basement
It's just
of an
all
abandoned
of us.
church.
Yeah, it's just all of us not yes-anding and just shutting each other down and various no's back and forth.
Your first year.
And
improv.
everybody trying to get laughs and it not be funny. Yeah.
You can't win improv. Stop trying to win improv.
Yeah. So you try out, you get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what was the name again?
Torrential Downplay.
Torrential
Catherine
Down.
Fitzer. She started the troupe.
Catherine
and-
Fitzer.
Yeah, and it was in a
Sounds like an improv person, Catherine Fitzer, in Torrential Downplay.
yes. She was young. She was younger than we were. I was 29 when I started to do improv. She was 20.
So you didn't take any classes?
No,
You
that
just
was
started.
the proving ground for me. So we did improv training there, and we had a friend named Sean who did improv, and he came in to help us with our improv training, just to hone our skills. We were all pretty naturally funny, but we had to, focus that energy.
Yeah.
Which
Were there classes in town or other groups? Was
No,
there
we were
not
the-
much of a scene?
we were the only improv outlet.
I want to
in
do
the
a separate
city.
episode about improv with you. So
Oh,
we're
yeah.
going to skip ahead because I do just want to talk about stand-up. It's taken us a while to get here, but I got to learn a bunch of stuff, and I
Yeah.
hope you did too.
Yeah.
You start improv.
hmm
3 years later,
Yeah.
you come across stand-up. How do you come across it?
Well, the improv group had dissolved, and then somebody
Catherine Fitzer packed up.
she took all the
Yeah.
riches that she made from improv.
They of mice
the
and men did.
millions
They
of
hopped
dollars.
in a train car.
Millions of dollars she made out of improv.
Mhm.
Skip town in the middle
Yeah.
of the night. And then one of us in the troupe said, "Hey, everybody, they're doing stand-up. Why don't we try stand-up?" It's like, yeah, let's try stand-up. And again, like I said, like 5 of us tried it out.
And this
did
is
it for a little
like
bit.
02?
2003.
2003.
Yeah, Debbie Smith tried it.
Mhm.
It was me, Debbie, Jamel, Aaron, and Tori.
And Jerry Seinfeld.
And Jerry Seinfeld. He was
Jerry
there.
Seinfeld. Wow, that's
Jerry was
crazy.
in my improv troupe.
Yeah.
And is this Pepsi gone? I didn't even see it. I didn't
Don't
see you
say what
drink
it is.
I mean, is this Porpsy?
I've been on the low.
It's
Well, ever
Porpsy.
since I got sober, surprise.
Sober Surprise. That's in your improv
Reveal.
group. Sober Surprise, your improv group.
No, it was funny. I was with my girlfriend, and I was doing a don't tell,
Mhm.
and her mom was there. She wasn't. She was somewhere else. And her mom went after me and was like, Chris really drinks a lot of like Coke Zero. Because I will drink I drink too much of this stuff
Mhm.
in a day. This is actually, I don't have the label on for YouTube concerns, but
Yeah.
this is Pepsi Zero Wild
Oh,
Cherry.
it's Porpsy.
It's not as
Pepsi
good
Zero.
as Cherry Coke Zero. And if you see me out in the wild and you really want to
Gauntlet
kiss up to me,
thrown.
yeah, Cherry Coke Zero is the way to go. Or a Cherry Vanilla Coke Zero, harder to get, but I will take the Cherry Coke Zero. Or a regular Coke Zero with lemon.
I think you just blew both endorsements. I'm not sure how, but
I'll take both. But I mean, Pepsi's okay. Pepsi Max is okay. But there's not enough cherry flavor. They really skimped. I don't know what they did.
you were so pretentious.
Cherry Coke,
man.
if you look in my fridge, it's like Cherry Coke Zero and Pepsi Zero Wild Cherry.
Not enough cherry. You've gone so Hollywood, man. I used to know you.
Mhm. That's
I
why
had no idea you were.
Chris's skin is better than mine because he's drinking water.
Yeah.
And you're black. That
Yeah.
is.
Water and melanin
Yeah.
making your skin gleam.
Yeah, you wouldn't know from this with my gray hair and everything. I'm like 15 years younger than Chris. So, Yeah. What do I
my
say?
hair.
I say
I loaned it to him for the podcast.
a white 35 is a black 60. Yeah. So you start doing stand-up.
Yeah.
Do you love it immediately? Does it
loved it.
speak to you?
I
Were you a
loved it
big
immediately.
stand-up fan beforehand, like you were Who's Line?
Big stand-up fan.
Who'd you like? Were you a Red Fox guy because you like Sanford and Son?
Love Red Fox, Richard Pryor, Chris Rock, of course. As he was exploding. And
yeah, because Bring the Pain came out like a few years before that, right?
I think so.
Like 94?
Something like that. But
Yeah.
he was just like amazing. And Brian Regan, I was a huge fan of.
Brian Regan. I met Brian Regan. I have a great Brian Regan story.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. I love
Should I tell it?
I don't know.
Would you like to hear it?
Sure, I'd love to.
Okay. So this was like one of the first cool stand-up things I got. Do you remember Jackie Cation?
Yeah.
Incredible comic. So amazing.
Yeah.
Like a real like killer.
Yeah.
So she was coming in to do one of my shows and she like emailed me, and just the nicest person in the world, so gracious to new comics. She was like, "Hey, I'm opening up for Regan. Would you like tickets and we can meet and you can come hang out?" So like I went with my ex at the time and we went to go see Brian Regan. I never heard of Brian Regan. I love stand-up. I just never heard of Brian Regan. I don't know how. And I got there and like the Alabama theater's packed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all these people are here at like 5 p.m.
What year is this? What year?
14, 15?
Okay. I think I was at that show.
Yeah. And we had great seats. And then Jackie brought us around and was like, "Do you want to meet Brian?" I was like, "I just wanted to meet you. I think you're the celebrity. I don't really know Brian Regan." So we get in and he's getting ready for the show. And Brian's there and he's like, "Hello." And then Jackie and me and my ex are talking. And then I say something about like George Harrison playing a sitar. It was like a click. And he like got up and started doing Brian Regan. And then was like completely in and joking and like, and Jackie Cation, so nice for letting us back there. And then it was very funny. Like my ex at the time was like, "My dad would burn your CDs and we would listen to them together in the car and it's very nice meeting you." He goes, "Yeah, thanks for buying them." No, he was very nice, but it was interesting to see somebody who's that big before a show be like, you couldn't tell, and then flip the switch. Yeah. It's also the first comedy show I went to where somebody did an encore and people shouted out bits. And I was like, oh, this can be like music. Yeah. This is like people would come to hear jokes. And I guess they do that for other people, but I remember I saw Nate before he started doing arenas. And I remember I was like, oh, he's big now because he came back out and people shouted out bits for him to do.
Yeah, Brian Regan. He's always been one of my favorites. For
Unbelievable.
Years. And when I was
in makes sense because you have a little bit of his in there, but you don't do a lot of act outs, surprisingly.
Not too much. It's occasionally.
Yeah, you don't do a lot.
Yeah, it's occasionally. Lately, I've done more.
Oh, have you?
I've done more. Just randomly, I seem to have done more. Like I was working on something the other day, and I was just like practically a character the entire bit, or several characters.
So your guys' comics, you like the classics, Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
You like contemporaries like Brian Regan, Chris Rock, two very different people.
Yes.
On stage, but I would imagine off stage they're probably similar.
Yeah. And,
who else did you like?
I like Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah.
And Paul F. Tompkins, who's like my hero.
Yeah.
But just
you like Patton Oswalt a lot too, right?
Oh yeah, I'd love to Patton Oswalt.
Yeah.
And just watching all these, back when Comedy Central used to have all these stand-up shows. You know, Mark Maron. I love Mark Maron stuff.
I love Mark Maron.
Especially when he hosted stand-up.
It's weird you don't get somebody until you start doing comedy and you're like, oh, I get Mark Maron.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Yeah, I loved him when he was on stand-up. One of my favorite things he did when I think he was hosting stand-up. When Kids in the Hall, and Mark was just like now he just tells it like it is.
Yeah.
To your face. When Kids in the Hall was in this last season, and Mark McKinney word on the street is Mark McKinney was going to go to be on Saturday Night Live. And at the end of an episode of Stand Up, Mark Maron's like, hey, I heard about what you're going to do, Mark, after Kids in the Hall. Don't do it. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. It was like, it was so hilarious and just so mean at the same time.
Yeah. So you're doing stand up now. In improv, were you like the head of your troupe, or did stand up give you even more confidence? Because I'm interested. You're such a great host.
Thank you.
And a lot of people shit on hosting. Hosting's very hard, and it's a very delicate thing. And I just know because I didn't want to become a good host, then I just became one from having to do it so much.
Yeah, there's a fear of being a host because I don't get to do any time, whatever. And people used to say, well, when you host a show, do you ever do any time? And it's like, well, actually, I kind of do the most time.
I do a lot of time. I do whatever I want.
Yeah, because when I was doing Fresh Ground, I would give everybody 10 minutes, whatever. And so I would have 10 minutes at the opening, about 10 minutes, whatever. And in between, I would have a little bits here and there.
Depends on how much fun you're having.
Yeah.
I'll do 7 if this sucks.
Yeah.
I'll do 15 if we're having a good time.
And so I got plenty of time. A few times I would close the show and do a set. But I love doing that. Like when we started doing improv, we Catherine always hosted the show. And so we would have 2 teams and stuff, and she'd be the ref. And so it was like, well, she can't host all the time. She doesn't get to play. And so she said, okay, everybody's going to have to take turns hosting. It's like, oh, I don't want to host. Boo, it sucks. I want to play. And the first time I got to host, it's like, I like this. This is fun. You can be just as comedic with it. And then hosting Fresh Ground Comics. And then one day somebody asked me to host a fashion show behind a vintage clothing store in Forest Park, Zoe's. And it's like, I've never hosted a fashion show. I've never hosted anything, really. And that was the first time I really hosted something. And it was so much fun. It was just like a light went off in my head. It's like, oh, you can do this. This is something fun to do. And so I've hosted things ever since then. And now I host stuff like all the time. I want to host more.
You host everything.
Almost.
Yeah. Anytime I get a big hosting gig, I'm like, Eunice and Chris said no. Eunice and Chris Davis said no. It has come to me. It has fallen to me. No, Roy Wood told me a great thing. He said, you start your comedy career hosting, and if you're lucky enough, you end your comedy career hosting.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, it's the truth. Like anybody, you start hosting, and then hopefully you like Steve Harvey. You host Family Feud.
He hosts everything.
You're like, you're hosting Wheel of Fortune at the end. You're hosting The Price is Right. You're Drew Carey.
Yeah. It's a great thing to do. I never considered.
It also makes you such a stronger comic.
Yeah, because you have to.
Because it sucks going up first, and hosting forces you to be up there first.
Yeah, I love going up first. By the way.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, I want to go up first. It's like, fine. No, I love going up first.
I like going up first because I can leave. See ya.
You got a hot.
Would you like to go up first? Yes.
Yeah. You got a hot, fresh audience. Take it. Especially
you get to set the tone too.
Yeah, because what if the first
for the good and the bad? I've set the tone. I brought a bad mood to a show and been like, this could have been a hot show.
Yeah, if the first 3 comics suck and they're like jackasses, it's like now you got to like clean up after them. So you may do it great, but I like going first. I don't mind.
When did you start feeling comfortable in stand up? And what was your style like at the beginning?
So different than what it is. I think the end.
What's like the first joke you wrote?
Because when I started doing stand up, we had 5 minutes. Everybody got 5 minutes, and so every time I did stand up, I never repeated the first year. I never repeated myself doing stand up.
Comics, don't do that. Don't do that. I see a lot of people coming around new comics being like, I can't believe I got to repeat it. I remember I was complaining to Tolly Jones, like, I don't know, like 8 or 9 months into stand-up. And I was like, man, you just have to go around and tell these same jokes all the time. Tolly's like, that's the job. Like, that's what this is. Yeah. What do you think it is? You just get up there all the time?
You got to make new stuff, but you know,
You do have to write new stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not saying be a hack. I'm just saying like you have to sharpen a thing. Nothing's ever going to get good if it's new all the time.
Yeah. So I every time I did my 5 minutes, it was about one subject. So my whole 5 minute bit was about a subject.
Oh God, kill me.
So so I was when I first started doing
Welcome to
stand-up,
Class with Chris.
which was fun. It went over well most of the time. Sometimes, not all the time. But I did a bit about a thing for 5 minutes, 3, 4, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then after a while, I started doing several bits in my set.
Uh-huh.
You know, and then maybe towards the end of the year, I would repeat older bits that I did, or take parts of those 5 minute bits and just take the best part of it. So that's how I started doing stand up. So I went from doing a set that consisted of one subject versus like a set that consisted of multiple things.
You're like, I would like to get more laughs.
I was getting laughs.
I believe you were.
Set.
I'm not saying you weren't. I'm not saying you were abjectly bombing. You're on this show. I think you're good.
Because it's funny how like if you have a 5 minute set, it's about one thing. It seems unusual. But if you're doing an hour and 5 minutes of the hour, it's about one thing. It's like it's a blip. You don't even think about it.
Well, it's crazy because when I do like an hour, or I do like longer form storytelling now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll have a chunk that's 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess you're right. I mean, I guess you're just so used to 5 minute sets being so punchy.
Yeah.
Dot, trying to get like laughs per minute and stuff like that. You're just trying to get something. So you're writing all on one subject. Was it you were trying to get more laughs, or what or was it just a natural progression?
It was just a natural. I would just naturally found a thing that I focused on. Because usually if I was in my apartment by myself, I'd see something in the news, whatever, and I would go, oh man, that's crazy. And then like 5 minutes later, I had just been gone off some kind of weird tirade. And so I would see something and notice it.
So it was like ranty?
Not a rant, but just like I just did 5 minutes on one subject. That's just where my brain went immediately.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it morphed into more of what you do now.
Yeah.
Okay. But you hit it multifaceted. I wouldn't say you do storytelling. You have one-liners. You mix it up.
Yeah.
You do a little bit of improvisation. You do some social commentary.
Yeah.
And you also do the goofy and the light, which is fun.
Yeah, I do. Because that's just me. That's just natural. I see something and I take a goofy take on it, a silly take on it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's serious stuff, but every once in a while, I don't even do that much political stuff on stage. I usually dance around the politician's personality versus their policy sometimes, because if you
want to get the most people.
Yeah, if you can't laugh at their personality, then come on, what are you doing?
Why are you here?
Yeah. I did a joke. I did a joke. I think a year or so ago. And this isn't political, but I guess just a couple thoughts. So, this is around. I think it's 2 years ago. And this is around, like, there was conversation about people were talking about slavery happened so long ago. Why are you talking about slavery all the time? Blah, blah, blah. And it was around that time. And I was joking about it. It's like, yeah, people do talk about slavery too much. They do too much. Now, if they excuse me, I'm going to go to one of our country's 36 Civil War reenactments. And then I said, oh, if you ever one of these Civil War reenactments, here's a fun thing to do. When the fighting starts, stand up in the crowd and go, "Let's go Yankees! Let's go Yankees!" And everybody was laughing except for this one couple.
This one couple.
It's one nice white couple. So either one, I just wasn't funny, or two, great grandpa
was not into it.
Was in the Confederacy.
Yeah. Well, the South's going to rise again.
Yeah, eventually. Anytime. The South should be rising. Mark your calendars, everybody.
Yeah. That train's a little late, but it'll be here. It's coming around the bend. So, like, now, because you've done one-man show, like comedic one-man shows as well. You've branched out into other areas.
Yeah.
How are you writing material now, or how do you juggle it, or how do you have... Like, where do you find the muse? Or does it bounce around from art, stand-up,
I wait for inspiration. Often it's got to come naturally. Sometimes I try to just sit down and go, what am I going to talk about today? And nothing happens. But if I see something or hear about something, then I can get a bit out of it and see where that goes. And sometimes it's super spontaneous. Like I did a show called Just Black Enough.
That was amazing.
Thank you. It was just a little one man thing. It was like I was on the couch.
You put that together in like a week.
Yeah, I was sitting on a couch Sunday.
Y'all, he put together a really great, funny one-man show in a week.
Thank you. I was sitting on a couch Sunday.
I've been working on this sober material for a year.
It's going great.
Oh, thank you.
And I was thinking, it's like
I haven't seen the new parts of it. It could be
wait.
going a little better.
It was February.
Yeah.
Black History Month was about to end, and it was going to end soon. Like Sunday on the couch, I was like, I want to do a one-man Black History Month show.
Yeah.
So Sunday I had the idea. Monday I contacted the theater. Tuesday they said yes. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I was frantically working on it.
Yeah.
And then Saturday was the show. So it started off with Sunday and went that week, and then Saturday night was the show.
So the motivation for that was pressure.
Yeah.
It was got to happen.
Yeah, because I was just sitting. I was like, well, it would be fun to do that. I just thought this would be a fun thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing theater stuff for improv theater around here, and I think I can get a few people to the show. And we had a great crowd. And it was like the most fun thing. And then I did a second one called Seriously, I'm Not Gay.
Oh yeah.
Just about identity and everything, whatever. And I got very lucky, got accepted into the Minnesota Fringe Festival.
Mm-hmm.
And I took both shows to the Fringe. So I did one show for 3 days and the other show for 2 days. It was
Which show did you like better?
Man, it's hard to tell.
I talked with you right before Fringe.
Yeah.
On the way up. Yeah. We had a good long conversation. It was nice.
It's hard to tell which. I like doing both, but it's really hard to tell which one. I hope to do Seriously, I'm Not Gay this June at some other theater.
Oh, during Pride?
Yeah.
That's fun.
So there's a couple of theaters I'm looking at. So I'd love to do it again.
Yeah, it's interesting because you are different in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun to hear you be like, hey, I'm just going to address what people are thinking. I'm just going to address this head on.
Yeah.
And I didn't see the Seriously I'm Not Gay show. I saw the other one,
which I appreciate.
But I would like to see the other one. I hope you do it in June.
Yeah, I hope so.
They're both. I would imagine the first one I saw was amazing. I imagine the second one's great, and your stand-up's really good. And do you do anything when the inspiration's not coming? Because you and I have talked a lot about being in that rut creatively, and I think if you're listening, this might be creatively in anything that you're doing. This doesn't have to be stand-up or performance or art. It could be like, hey, I want to reorganize my house, or I don't like how this is going.
Yeah, or my music's not going right.
Yeah, how do you try to get out of it? What's your method when you're like, I'm stuck? Other than the pressure of this has to be done, which procrastination does lead to some work getting done. But how do you do it when you're not feeling it? Or is it just always the pressure? Or do you force yourself? Yeah, I'm going to commit to a one-man show because it'll have to be done.
Sometimes I just walk away from it. It's like, this is as far as I've gotten, and I'm just stumped. And so let me just walk away and clear my mind and get some fresh eyes on it and experience something else or look at something else. And maybe it'll be an inspiration and to go back to do something. Or sometimes when I get stuck, I just go like, okay, what is something I really like right now? Then I'll just go work on that, and maybe I can do a bit about that or do a show about that. But sometimes you just gotta wait. There's some people who think it's like, well, there's no such thing as artist block. You just need to go through it, persevere. And some people that works for it, but not all the time. So it's just whatever. You have to just find your own way with that. But I always say, like, it doesn't hurt to step away for a little bit and get somebody else's perspective on it. A lot of good bits I've gotten from friends who have just said stupid stuff that my bit reminded them of. And they're just like, you can have that, Chris. It's like, cool. And I take it and I'll run with it.
Yeah, because I feel like if you're in a creative space, you might be different from me. I'm sort of always thinking about stand up.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't do all the things that you do. I mean, I think about like comedy producing and how to build a following and trying to do more social.
Breathe and sleep stand up. Like I love stand up. I love doing stand up. It's like you are like the purveyor of stand up.
I mean, I don't know why I love it. It doesn't love me as much as I love it, but we're working on that relationship.
She's a fickle mistress.
Yeah. I mean, I thank you. Well, I guess don't know if that's a compliment. I feel like I'm pretty good.
No, you're one of the most dedicated to stand up that I know.
Yeah.
It's not the most dedicated to stand up.
Yeah. I mean, and I write a lot,
mm-hmm.
but this idea of like push through, it's like, man, sometimes for me, like you're saying, I have to not think about stand up for a little bit to write some stand up.
Yeah, you can't be immersed.
Because everybody's doing this sort of like gym mentality, lifting weights, but for their brain. And it's like, this isn't how the arts work.
I'm not shoving my face
this
in
isn't fucking
water.
Kettlebells.
Yeah.
Like this, yeah, you make stuff, you put it out. Some of it's good, some of it's not. But also, like, you can't force it to come upon you.
No, you can't.
You know, and the best stuff you can write and you can be closer to it for it to present itself. You shouldn't just like not do anything.
Yeah, I think there was an article.
But this idea that like, all right. And like I talk to new comics and they're like watching these podcasts with people with like doing clips. And I get we're doing a podcast talking about comedy, but you
this is a podcast? I was not told. This is cut this.
You storm out. You kick the camera over.
I love storming out of places.
Storming out's great. Thing. And now since you don't have landlines, we can't.
I know.
Bang the phone. Call back. Crushing. Clip that. And you see these people. I talk to new stand-ups and they're like, I have written for 15 minutes, 2 times a day, for 6 days this week. And I have a plan to do it every week, just like that. And in this much, and it's like, bro, you're not even funny. I don't know. like, it doesn't matter.
Maybe he's just working at penmanship. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, I don't know what
My L's are so curvy.
It's like, dog, I am awful at comedy. I'm getting great at calligraphy. I am really... I'm making those ends like Nosferatu.
Look at this ascender, man. That's something right there. You ever seen an ascender like that? Check out my descender. Oh, I am not funny. But
Chris, I've only got a descender. But yeah, you see people, and it's just like, to me, that's not how creativity functions.
Yeah.
And it is great when you're stuck on a project to get away, pick up something new, and then come back to it.
Do you know Olivia Cathcart?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Olivia, either she turned me on to this article, or maybe she wrote this article, but it was about
because she had that thing, creative loafing, right?
Yeah.
In Atlanta?
I think so.
Yeah.
But it was, she either wrote this article or sent me this article about comedy hustle culture is killing comedy. It's like this hustle culture. You think you got to be here and do this and do all this stuff, whatever, and have clip after clip after clip and this and show up here and
I love that we're taking a dump on it as I'm doing the thing.
This is different.
I'm actively engaging in it, and I'm like, this is stupid.
This is different. It's the mindset.
It is, and you meet people like that, and it's like sort of like. And I was an athlete all growing up. I played sports.
Mm-hmm.
I was like the guy. Like I'm a bro at the end of it, but it's also like that is not this. And it's never going to be this.
Yeah.
And you can hustle, grind, do mental push-ups to try to get your brain swole to write stand-up. And it's like, that's not how it is.
Yeah.
Are you funny? Like certain people's minds work away.
Yeah, it's got to be natural. I mean, when you think about
and probably people should read The Artist's Way. That's an interesting book. I do a lot. I like the taking yourself out on dates. Like I go see movies. That clears my brain.
Yeah. You have to live.
You have to live and you have to experience stuff. I also like to look at other good art. I know it's not stand-up and it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it makes me feel better because it's like, oh, they have the same brain like me in a different format. They're doing it. So I should be able to do it too.
Yeah, and when you think about all the great comics, or whatever, it's like they're going to open mics and stuff, and they're working out this 1 hour special. They've been working out that for a year, and they take
Or
the time.
more.
Yeah, and they take the time to do that. You can't force it, and you can tell when some of it's been forced. Like,
Ooh, it's
I mean, there's some
tough.
great stuff on Netflix, but I've seen some like, oh, you threw this together.
There's a lot of bad stuff on Netflix.
Yeah.
The worst thing that happened was after the pandemic, everybody was podcasting. Podcasting got huge, and then comics had to get back out on the road, and they didn't have enough time to work out stuff. But people were like, we'll give you all this money to do a special.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'll do it. And then you see it, and you're like, yeah. I mean, listen, they give me the money. All right, I'll do a Chris Davis. I'll put a special together this weekend.
You can do it.
Mine's going to be called Seriously, I Am Gay.
I can't wait. I'll be in the front row.
Yeah, you would. I'll be doing a lot of, where'd you get that shirt? All crowd work, just like mailing it in.
There is a portion in Seriously, I'm Not Gay about shirts.
Oh, yeah?
About my shirt.
Makes sense. Makes sense. But yeah, I know we sort of got off topic there, but
what? On a podcast, get out.
Podcast.
You and me getting off topic.
Yeah, me and you taking a dump on things. Me getting sour about something. Yeah, it's happening.
We're easily
but
distracted.
No, it's interesting because, especially you've been doing it longer than me, but you get like to 10 years, and it is like a romantic relationship, Yeah. And it's like, I've been struggling with this, and I've actually talked with you about this of like, I'm just not in love with it the same way.
Really?
It's like a marriage.
Yeah.
It's like, I love it. There's times where I go, this is great. And then 70% of it, I'm like, oh, I gotta do this. I gotta go.
Yeah.
And it's interesting as you go through it. And you see people that are new who are just falling in love with it.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're looking at their love and you're like, I wish I was still in love with this like they were.
They've got puppy love.
Yeah.
And you've got like, you're in your 12th anniversary.
Yeah. And you're like, wait till it beats you down. Yeah. No, I still do love stand-up. It's just lately I've been in that sort of malaise. Have you felt that doing stand-up? I guess you have so many different outlets. I kind of just have the one.
Fortunately, I do get to bounce back and forth, and I do more improv than stand-up lately. But I love to do stand-up, and now that I do stand-up my way, it's so much more enjoyable because a lot of my stand-up is more storytelling and mix of jokes. And some observational stuff, and I improvise a little bit on stage, sometimes a lot, which I'll tell you about later. One show I did.
I haven't seen you do much stand-up recently.
I haven't.
But when we get busy, that's how it is with your stand-up friends. And be prepared if you're any young stand-ups watching it. All your like close friends you have now, you're eventually gonna either people will quit or get better, and then you'll all be booked, and you won't get to hang out as much.
I know.
So like, enjoy the crappy Tuesday open mic you're at, where you're all together afterwards, because or
when 5 of you are in a car driving an hour away to do 5 minutes at some honky tonk or back of a bar.
Yeah, because when we get together, when I like see you at a show or see her, I'm like, whoa!
I know, and it's like, hey, it's great.
We might get to do a show together, what, twice a year maybe?
Something like that, I think.
Sucks.
I know, it stinks.
Sucks. Matt Davis has been in town. He's doing this Thursday, and I told him, I was like, I'm going to be so sad when you leave. I was like, I'm so happy that your show at Saturn went well. Maybe it'll keep you around here for a little bit longer. Because he does stand up like me. Yeah. And even though he's way past it, he's still at every open mic working on material.
Yeah, and I love it. He's
banging away.
The ultimate international workhorse.
Yeah. So it's like, but I've had somebody like to talk to. And, just one of the people from back when. Yeah. Because you have something in common that you can talk about. Because that's another thing, I don't know if you've noticed, is when you get better at stand-up and when you do it longer, you don't have as much in common because you can't bounce ideas off people who are just starting as much. Or maybe you can. I just find that it's difficult.
Maybe. I think maybe it just depends on the individual. I remember one night, I think you had just come from the Stardome, and there was a guy there, and we were all talking because we all knew each other, and he was new, and I think he had like, well, you guys are, old school, whatever, what you're talking about, and he like kind of got a little upset, whatever. It's like, no, we're all talking, we're all comics here.
Yeah.
You're not less than because you've been doing it.
No, I don't mean it like that. I'm saying like high level conversation.
Yeah.
About where you can really discuss.
Yeah.
Is a lot harder to do.
That's what I meant. I don't think I think he thought he was being shut out of that conversation. Which
right. And it's not that.
Yeah.
That's where I think a lot of people dislike me in ways because they think, and it's like, I'm not. I don't have a lot in common with you right now. And it's not a better or worse thing. It's just like, I remember somebody told me this when I was new, and I asked them for advice, and they said, if I gave you the advice that I would give you, it wouldn't even make sense to you right now. And I go, tell me anyway. And the person told me, and I went home and I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And then like 5 years later, I was at a show and something happened. I go, oh,
really?
That's what that means. That's what that means.
Do you recall what it is?
No, because it's a thing I want to keep. Gotcha. I want to keep to me. I'll share it. We got a lot of these. Me and you have done like 2 hours.
Oh, really?
What time is it?
It is almost 6. Oh, it's almost 6.
Buddy,
get the hell out of here.
Oh my God. Well, this is a great episode. I don't care. I've just forgot we were recording. I'm just like,
I totally forgot.
We haven't got to hang out much.
Time flies when you're full of yourself.
Yes. Time flies when you're an egomaniac.
Yes.
Cheers. Give me one of those.
Clack.
Mine's done. Maybe I should do every episode. The Cherry Coke Zero is empty. We are done now. The episode's finished. If I'm really thirsty, 10-minute pod. We're in and out. Okay, let's get to some other things, and we'll get you out of here. First off, thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, give me... I always want to do this with people. Give me your worst show.
Stardome. I was hosting. The audience was not that into me. And the headliner made sure to remind them.
Wow, he took a dump on you?
Yes.
What headliner?
I can't remember his name. I do remember it's like I was backstage. I was listening to it because I had to come at the end, whatever. And I do remember it's like, wait a minute. What's that feeling? Are my feelings hurt? For the first time ever in stand-up? Yes, I think my feelings are hurt. Because of that, because he was shitting on me. And then the other thing was like, all of his comedy was, hey, remember this? Remember that? Remember this? And they were
wasn't even
loving
like
it.
Great
they were loving
stuff.
it. So the fact that this,
I've had shows
hey, remember
like
this, wacky stuff, whatever, it's like, okay, now I feel twice as bad.
Man, I remember. Well, this will be a different. I keep doing this, guys. The podcast is going to go for a while. You're going to hear all my stories multiple times. I don't want to burn them all.
I love hosting at the Stardome, but that night it was not working.
I love being in Stardome. It's my home club. Man, I had a great last time I headlined there. I had a great set.
I bet.
I'll tell you about it after.
I had an excellent time hosting this one show at the Stardome. It was like everybody was on, and I felt like I was on fire.
When that room's really packed and everybody's bought in and into it.
Hot night.
It's a hot crowd.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you were there the night of the Kenan Thompson thing?
Yeah, that was the night. That was the night where I loved that night so much.
Yeah. I should have won. Me and LP were the best.
You were really good.
I destroyed.
You killed. I was like, when I found out later that you did not get a call, I was like,
well, it's because I called it a scam.
It was your fault. You shouldn't have done that. But
it was a scam.
There were bodies in the aisle you were killing. It was great.
And I will say this: Lamar destroyed.
Yes.
He should have won.
Yes.
He should have won.
Lamar, Eunice.
Eunice had a great set. Yeah, I forgot Eunice had a great set.
But I was like, and I'm not saying this because I'm right here with you, but you were just lit up that audience. It was amazing.
Yeah, I
It
went
was
out and I started
so-
complaining about it, and they were like, "You should kind of be clean." And I just went out and did.
Oh yeah,
not.
that was everybody needs to be clean. And then what Jackie Brown, as soon as she goes out there,
Yeah.
it's like George Carlin is rolling
Yeah.
over his grave going, "You can't say that."
Yeah, and I just went out and I just,
It's like
it's
you kids.
I love the Stardom, and it is like it is when you have like a home club or a spot or a stage
Yeah.
that you're used to. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm playing basketball at the house.
Yeah.
I know where all the spots are.
You got comfortable.
I can get to the spots. I can bank this off the backboard. We know what's gonna go here.
Yeah, you was like, company's over. Don't show your ass in public.
Yeah, and I was like, let me pull these pants down. Stardom. So
Yeah,
that
that was a
man, the
great
host taking a dump on you is
God,
not the host, the headliner just
The headliner,
taking a dump
man.
on you. And after you have
the
a
way he
hot
did
one,
it, the way he did it was like, hey, give it up for your opener. And give it up for your medal, whatever. And Chris, well, he tried. I was like, good Lord, I'm dying.
God.
And then he proceeded to mock me a little bit more. And then he went into the, hey, remember this? For like what
Yeah.
seemed like 3 hours.
Back in my day,
Remember when the street light came on, you had to go inside? Yes, we all remember. Tell a joke.
what's
God.
the best show you can remember?
Uh,
And this can be the show or performance wise.
One of the best shows I can remember, I was doing stand-up at Auburn. And it was at this cool outdoor place. And
Was it
people-
one of Rivers' shows?
It was one of Rivers' shows.
Yeah.
And he and people mentioned
Shout out
this-
Rivers Langley.
Rivers Langley. People mentioned this place called the Star Bar like 2 times.
Oh, in Atlanta?
No, in Auburn.
Oh, okay.
Called the Star Bar. And it's called the Star Bar because there's no roof.
Yeah.
So you can see the stars. It was like, okay, it's brilliant. And I was doing my
You mean
my-
it's the Star Bar, but a patio. It's a patio.
Yeah, it's a
That's
patio.
all it is, a patio.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I was, and I still haven't been there. And I was
Yeah.
doing my bit, and I mentioned it's like, y'all talking about the Star Bar. I'm like, what is the Star Bar? And then this side of the audience is like, love the Star Bar. This side hated the Star Bar. So I was
Yeah.
trying to figure out why. So my last 2 jokes I never told, but the last bit of my comedy was all improvised.
Mhm.
About the Star Bar interaction with the audience. The place I've never been. I've gotten so many laughs over a place I've never been to and never heard of until that night. And it was such a good night.
It was just a great one. It stuck out.
Yeah.
It's the ones that surprise you.
Yeah.
People think it's going to be like the biggest show with the most people. And it's like, no, it was this kind of weird one where
Yeah.
I felt I was in the pocket.
Yeah.
When you feel that and you're like, I was there for like that whole night.
So
I
my
was
favorite
right
shows,
there. Yeah.
14 people.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like, this is the best night.
it'll
The
be
14 of you people are the best people ever.
Is the sold out show the best? No, the one with the 14 people.
Yes, who got everything I was laying down.
Okay, we did worst show, best show. I want to do this when I have comics on.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet Kenny DeForest?
I kept trying to figure out if I did meet Kenny. And somebody said we did meet at a Fresh Ground, but I don't remember Kenny. But I know
Okay.
Kenny was beloved and very funny.
He was. When I have comics on, just to remember Kenny.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask people about him. But that's fine. You don't have a memory.
Yeah,
We're good.
But I watched his set after he passed, and I was like, oh, this is, man,
It was
lost.
so
What a loss.
good.
What a loss. It
Oh
was so
man,
funny.
so good.
Yeah.
And we'll get out on the last 2 things.
Mhm.
How we want to end every show.
Yes.
With our guests, we do a top 5.
Top 5.
Now, the rules of the
Number
Ivy League top
5.
5 are very simple. The guest gets to pick
5.
the exact top 5 that they want. It can be as big or as small as they want it to be.
Mhm.
And now we're going to reveal Chris Davis's top 5. Chris Davis, your top 5.
My top 5 breakfast cereal mascots.
Like a true improv comedian. Yes. What a great topic. I'm going to tell you a guess for tomorrow what their topic is.
Uh-huh.
And I'm so excited. It's fun to see how each guest has got a different one. So Chris Davis's top 5
Yes.
breakfast cereal characters.
Yes.
We'll start at number 5.
Number 5, King Vitamin. King, yes, your sphero brow is duly noted, sir. It was
No.
a cereal that I used to eat. I don't know if they make it anymore. Probably not. But King Vitamin had some just middle-aged to elderly white dude with a crown made of spoons
Okay.
on the box of King Vitamin. He would just kind of look at you going, you want some of this vitamin, don't you? Yeah, you do. It was like, not because he's my favorite, but just because he was so weird.
Mhm.
Everything was his cartoon, but it was this dude's face. It was a photograph of this old man with a crown made of spoons.
Yes. Okay. Number 4.
Toucan Sam. He's just a colorful fella, and he's got that voice. He's he British or is he South African? You don't know.
Toucan Sam.
Toucan Sam. He follows his nose.
Wherever it
Philosophy.
goes.
Yeah, philosophy for all of us. Follow your nose, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And then number 3 is the Cookie Crook from Cookie Crisp cereal.
That is a god tier level one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cookie Crook. Now, I like Cookie Crook because...
Cookie Crisp. Yeah, dog.
Yes, because he had a dog that helped him with his crimes of stealing. Most cereal mascots, it's based in crimes and deceit and lies. All right, know that, kids. All right, cool. But then they got rid of the Cookie Crook, but they kept the dog.
Yeah, that's so weird. Why did they let the crook?
Yeah, they had the wizard at first, then they had the Cookie Crook who was still a cook, and then
he violated the terms of his probation.
Yeah.
So
maybe they didn't want kids to think being a bandit is good.
That's
so they said,
awesome.
let's just have this dog who's still a bandit. It was so weird. That's number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, Trix Rabbit. The Trix Rabbit.
Yes.
He is a master of disguise.
Mm-hmm.
Also, deceit and lies. And the kids will not let him have his tricks. When I was a kid, they had a write-in campaign. You could write in to see if the Trix Rabbit would get the tricks on a commercial. And everybody wrote in, including me, and we gave the tricks. And the tricks got the tricks. But at the end of the commercial, they still took it away from him. I was infuriated. I was an infuriated child. So mad. But the Trix Rabbit, he tried so hard. He deserved the tricks.
Okay.
Number 1, Sugar Bear from Sugar Crisp cereal. Sugar Bear. Do you know Sugar Bear?
I know Sugar Bear.
Can't get enough Super Golden.
Man, you got
It's got
Vitamix
the
and
punch.
Sugar Bear. That is.
Sugar Bear. So he sounds like Dean Martin and Luther Vandross had a baby.
Yeah.
That was a bear. He's got this real smooth voice with the super. Now he is the smoothest. He's a brown bear, but he's a black bear.
Yeah,
I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, he's like Teddy Swims.
Yeah.
I'm back there. I'm back. Yeah. What's up?
Yeah, Sugar Bear.
Clip it.
Number 1. He's number 1.
Clip it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's your top 5. I'm going to give you my top 5. I
Please,
disagree
please.
with a few. Number 5, the Rice Krispie Men.
All 3 are number 5?
All 3 are number 5.
Okay.
Running a train on that milk. All 3 of them.
Jeez Louise.
The Trix Rabbit, number 4.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Master of Disguise.
Count Chocula.
Count
number
Chocula.
3. Come
Pimp,
on.
A pimp.
Cereal
pimp.
Man, he is wearing velvet.
Yes.
I want my guy wearing velvet.
Can't beat it.
Yeah, the dude from Cinnamon Toast
Get the
Crunch.
double pompadour point.
The dude from Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh, the chef. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tony the Tiger, dog.
That's what Lauren said.
This is the thing.
First thing she said, Tony the
Frosted
Tiger
Flakes
is like,
isn't even good.
Pedestrian. Tony the Tiger.
Tony the Tiger. Tony the Tiger has propped up with his charisma, and zeal, has propped up the most basic, bland cereal, Frosted Flakes. Here's how bad Frosted Flakes is. The only good part of it is when you drink the sugary milk when it's done. The cereal is not even good.
Yes. Bunch of flat corn with sugar on it.
I like whatever the thing is from Smacks. What is that? A Komodo dragon? What is that thing?
The frog, Sugar Smacks.
The frog. Yeah, I like the frog.
Sugar Smacks is a poor man's Super Golden Crisp.
Yeah, but I didn't want to pick that one because it sort of has that frog from Song of the South vibes, and that's racist. So I couldn't have him in my top 5 because I am an ally. And
you know, the first draft of Frosted Flake was they're adequate. A lot of people don't know that. That's
they're mid.
You made it modern.
I did. Thank you. You're 80 years old. I
Yes,
just look
I am.
older than him.
He's a young buck.
My girlfriend would not say that. Buddy, so good. We want to end every single episode by asking the guests, What is something, a piece of media, a book, music you're listening to, maybe a television show or movie you've seen recently? What's something that you would love to recommend that maybe a lot of people don't know about, or something that's inspiring you right now?
I have two things. I couldn't decide. I have two things. They are on the opposite ends of the spectrum. Incredibly so. One, Righteous Gemstones on HBO.
Baby Billy.
Uncle Baby Billy.
Hallelujah, what a payday. There'll come a payday someday. There will come a payday.
So,
Hallelujah, what a payday. Yes, Baby Billy.
That show is amazing. It's amazing. It's how I wish I could talk to people sometimes.
See, I say that I'm your inner monologue. The way I talk is your inner monologue.
Yeah.
And you're the sweet person in me that I should be able to get out.
The way I talk around my friends and to myself is how the Righteous Gemstones talk sometimes.
Very fun.
Not as visceral as them, but I hope to be as visceral. And the other show is complete end of the spectrum. Frog and Toad.
I have not seen that.
The animated series on Apple TV. If you are having a stressful, terrible time, put on Frog and Toad, and it will just calm you down. It's based on the book. It's an animated series. It's just the sweetest, calmest show. I'm sure it's just for kids, but adults should watch it. Frog and Toad. And here's the thing about Gemstones and Frog and Toad. They both have a lot of heart.
There's a lot of sweetness in Gemstones.
Yes, a lot of sweetness.
Especially the way they ended the show.
I haven't seen.
They end each season on like a high note.
Yeah, I just finished watching season 3, so I got to start watching season 4. And Danny McBride was just on Fresh Air with Terry Gross. I don't know if she was interviewing, but he was just on there this week. If you get a chance to listen to it, it's great. It's just him. He just sounds like he's the most sweetest, nice, grateful.
I love how
grateful dude.
He did exactly the thing that I think is awesome that I have no idea why other people who get opportunity and money don't do. He got his money, he got some opportunities, and then he said, man, I'm going to move where I want to and make whatever I want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They shot all that stuff they shot. They found an abandoned Sears.
Yep.
And that's where the church is, and that's where the dad's house is, and Uncle Billy's place. It's
like, I don't want to live in LA. Why would I want to do that? I don't want to do Amex commercials. Like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
Have you watched Vice Principals?
No, not yet. I know I'm ashamed I haven't.
Vice Principals is dark and weird and amazing. Highly recommend. I will, when Chris leaves, I will give y'all my recommendation for the week. Man, I'm just, first off, I love hanging out with you.
I love hanging out with you.
I love you so much, bud.
I love
and
you,
thank
man.
you for all the good things that you've done for me and ways you've helped me.
You're welcome.
And we're going to have you back on to talk about being an artist in that world. And we're also going to have you on to talk about being an improv. And then just occasionally have you on because I want to hang out with you.
I'm an artist and a comedian. I'm found 2 ways to be poor. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, you did. Cool. You did. You doubled up on broke loserdom. Yes. I've only singled up, so I'm doubly broke than you. I don't know how that works.
I'm super broke.
If I knew the math of how to say that phrase, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. Chris Davis, tell the people where they can find you.
On Instagram, it's Chris Davis Does Stuff. That's where most of my stuff is. I need to get on the YouTubes more and the Facebooks and all the other stuff. Chris Davis Does Stuff on Substack. I'm a Substacker now.
Heck yeah. Check him out on Substack. And Chris, do you have any shows coming up? Any events, any art, anything? This will probably come out Friday or Monday. The ETC, Extemporaneous Theater Company. Hey-o.
We're doing improv show, Battle of the Improv Stars at Theater Downtown, Friday and Saturday. That's on the 16th and 17th. And I'll be emceeing at the Birmingham Folk Fest in Avondale Park for free on Saturday.
I'm going to go Saturday to the Folk
Saturday
Fest.
Saturday the 17th is 11 a.m. to about 7 p.m. or 8. It's going to be a great lineup. Pinkbeard will be there. I hear he's
a big
popular
deal. He just sold out Iron City, Jermaine. Well, I guess I can't say his real name. Funny Maine. I always feel so weird saying a person I know's stage name.
Yeah.
I love you, Funny Maine, Jermaine.
Yeah.
I love you. Yeah. He hosted those shows, said he was incredible.
Oh, really? Cool. I can't wait to hear him. I can't wait.
Yeah. Chris, Love you. Thanks
Love
for
you,
coming
Chris.
through. Guys, we'll be back with you real soon. As I said, we're relaunching everything. So I'm going to just try to put out a bunch of... Whoa.
Easy.
Clip it.
Easy.
Clip it. I'm
Easy.
dead now.
Easy.
I
Okay.
had too much...
Too much of that
wild
flavored
cherry Pepsi. No, we're gonna put out a bunch. We'll at least have an episode every single Monday for you to consume, and maybe throw some bonus ones in there to start up and build things. Please like, share, review, subscribe,
Worship.
whatever. Please
Worship.
just
Worship.
follow it, even if you didn't like it. Just like follow it.
And if you
Because
didn't
when
like
I
it,
get
make
to
somebody else watch it.
1,000 followers, I get to monetize and make a little bit of money. We're
These
trying.
Pepsis don't come cheap.
Yeah,
I mean,
we want a
Portsy.
better studio. I want to give you guys more. I want to give you more.
Yeah, this is disgusting. Look at this.
I think it looks kind of good.
This is terrible. Help him out.
Looks kind of good.
I mean, I like this a lot. I do.
You do. Guys, till next time. Now Chris and I are going to say all the things we wouldn't say on this. See you guys next time. Thank you.
Ciao.